Japan has approved a stimulus package worth $224 billion. About half of the money, or $116 billion, will be direct government spending. The rest will come from local governments and the private sector. The Prime Minister is hoping that the extra money will help boost the Japanese economy.
$117 billion. That's the money from the central government here in Japan. When you factor in money from local governments as well as the private sector, we're talking about a grand total of about $230 billion US. Now, the aim of all of this is to increase growth here in Japan, to break out of these two lost decades that they've been called, to break out of this and to increase growth to about 2% on an annualized rate, as well as creating what you mentioned, 600,000 jobs. Now, let me break it down a little bit and explain how this money is going to be spent. A large portion of it will be spent on public works or infrastructure projects here in Japan. Shinzo Abe also says he wants to help companies expand their foreign footprint, to get them to broaden their reach overseas. And then there is also giving support to the local communities here in Japan that have been hit hard due to the slow growth here in Japan over the past 20 years. But one thing that Shinzo Abe made very clear here today, Rosemary, was that it was out with the old and in with the new when it comes to economic policies here in Japan.
The government will allocate the funds to three areas. More than $40 billion will go to rebuilding after the earthquake and tsunami and to disaster prevention. Workers will use the funds repairing infrastructure such as tunnels and bridges. About $35 billion will be spent on measures to ensure security and revitalize communities. And about $35 billion will be spent on driving growth. Some of that will support business ventures. Other funds will go into promoting joint research projects between universities and companies. The stimulus package, plus spending by local governments and the private sector, will add up to $230 billion.
I recognize that fiscal discipline is extremely important. But without economic growth, there is no hope for the future of Japan and for rebuilding our finances. The package aims to create more than 500,000 jobs and boost economic growth by 2%. It's a combination of construction projects and investment stimulus, such as corporate subsidies and loan guarantees for small firms. Financial analysts, including investment bank Nomura, say the stimulus will give the economy a big lift. Japan's Nikkei stock index jumped 1.4% on the news.